Again, we have to start painting. Look at, I have a PC. So I have to market and purchase a PC. Okay. So that is by default, it is in a work group. PC or a laptop, there are by default in the work group. For example, in my organization, I have a multiple desktops or a laptops are there, systems are there. So there are in a work group, for example. So then we'll come back to the, we'll go to the domain, then I can explain what is in work group, what is in domain. Okay. Every PC has their own name. For example, this is a PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4. Okay. So in a PC, these are all in work group, means there is no centralized administration. You have your own laptop, means you have a login account, right? So by default, you have a login account. So you got a login account. So you log into your system. You can install an application. You can uninstall an applications. You can do settings, your desktop background settings, or networking related settings, firewall related settings. So you can able to do settings. For example, you can take like this, an example. From here it is here Pawan. Pawan is a user in the PC1. Nagesh is user in the PC2. Small names and searching. Ajay is there. So Ajay, his system is PC3. So Reddy system is PC4. So Pawan account in PC1 means Pawan is an administrator. For example, he's an administrator account. So administrator account, the local administrator, he's a local administrator of PC1. He can do settings, he can install application, he can uninstall an application. He can create a users, he can do the hard disk management, all these things he can able to do it in the PC1. But Pawan cannot administrate PC2. He can access PC2, but he cannot log into PC2. He cannot do any settings or any installations kind of stuff or uninstallations kind of stuff in PC2. Why? Pawan user account and passwords stores in the PC1 only, not in the PC2. Same as Nagesh. Nagesh is an administrator of PC2. He can log into PC2. He can change settings in PC2. He can administrate this PC2, but he cannot administrate PC1. Okay. So workgroup model means your system is an individual system. So your local account or local administrator information is in your PC only, not in any other PCs. Okay. You can administrate, you can do settings, you can install an applications, you can create any local policies, local group policies in your PC. Okay, not to other PCs. Okay, every PC has their own administrator. It is a decentralized administration, not a centralized administration. No centralized control, no specific server is controlling your PC, is not there. Every PC has their own administrator. One PCs or one system's user cannot log into other PCs. User information, their password information, their settings stored in their own PCs only, not in a centrally, not in other PCs. You can control or manage individually, not centrally. It means, for example, just for example, you have your own laptop. That's what I said first, right? If in case in your organization, college, or maybe companies, several computers are there. For example, 10 computers are there. You are the system administrator, means you are a person actually have to do settings in the all the pieces. What to do? It's a work group pieces. You have to go to one by one. For example, you have to do certain setting, a firewall setting, or a network related setting, or maybe a desktop wallpaper setting, or maybe you have to install some application. Maybe you have to uninstall some applications. So what you have to do? You have to go to each and every PC, ask the PC user to log in, and you have to do all the settings, or you have to log in as a local administrator, some administrator account. You have to do settings, then go to next PC and do settings, another PC, do all that settings. Because you cannot control them centrally. All the 10 PCs, you have to go one by one. 10 PCs are okay. Like, last time when we are in a Pune location, so same office, but Pune location. We have 30 computers in one single room. So when I need to install any application, I have to go to each and every PC, install applications, VMware workstations, copying the related data. Okay, the configurations, I have to do it each and every time. Okay, so that's the thing. I have to do 30 PCs. Okay, for a one time, no problem. 2 times, maybe. Think about I have 50 PCs. Think about I have 100 computers. So you can see in your college computers lab, there is a 30, 40 computers in single lab, 60 computers in a single lab, sometimes. Okay, think about a organizations having hundreds of computers. In each building, there is hundreds of computers. In each floor, means entire building having so many computers. 200, 300, 500. So many user accounts, right? Morning 9 to 6, one shift. That is a day shift. People are there. 24/7 shifts are there. For example, some people work from afternoon to evening, like 11 o'clock to afternoon 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock night, 12 o'clock to early morning to afternoon, like that. 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours shift is there. Okay, it means 100 computers, 300 users can able to work. Okay, so that is one point. Second is important. More number of computers. You cannot go to each and every computer to the settings or a control or you cannot administrate one by one individual. It is very difficult. That is the last point here. More number of PCs or systems or increases, it's very difficult to manage it. Then it comes to the domain. Domain has this domain environment is having so many advantages in case of large size of network. Okay, so it is a centralized administration. Not hear anything? Guys, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Centralized
Yes, sir.
administration. What is centralized administration? So there is a centralized server. This server will controls your pieces. Now these are all in Workgroup. So maybe in next time I will add them into the domain. So I will explain what is this domain part again. So I will tell. So we will understand what is domain. Centralized administration. Centralized controller is there. For centralized administration, there is a centralized controller called a domain controller, which is nothing but a server. It's nothing but a server with an Active Directory domain services. Currently, it is Active Directory domain services, ADDS. Okay. So what is this ADDS? Active Directory having a database. This database contains users. Okay, users. For example, I can create multiple users. This. I can create a multiple users. And computer information. Computer information. So I need one more PC for one example. That's why I'm adding this. So those are all, everything is in a network. Computer information, resource information. For example, you have a printer. If your printer is in a domain, so that printer information is also in the database. So what is this Active Directory is doing? Active Directory having a database which contains information of users, groups, computers, resources, and services. Okay. And this will also do authenticate users when they log into any domain pieces. Guys, PCs in the domain called a domain computers, users listed in the domain database, domain users. Okay, what is this domain? Domain is a simple logical administrative boundary. Just it is a logical space with a name. Some with a .com, .org. For example, I created a domain name called Latif.com. It's a domain name. Before that one, just for our understanding, guys, I want to show you. I will try to show you one of any pieces. Let it start. It will going to start. This is my virtual machine because my actual laptop, my old laptop is there. So their already configured environment is there. Here it is. I think I am already viewing this one. Number of views. Okay. Yeah, it is open. Guys, this is a video which is already just I try to share. It's not coming like olden days, the clear cut kind of stuff. Only the link it is coming. It's almost 1 year. Why it is? You won't get advertisements generally. So you can watch the second part. So no need of first watch part because same explanation work group and domain. You already here. So the second part is the practically how to join into the domain, how to create a user in the domain controller and how to access from it. So like that information is there. I will show you that one also. Why it is. It's already installed PC only. Maybe it is updated recently. Yeah. So where am I located? Yeah. Point is these are all local accounts. So I am removing these like local accounts. So it is that. So I can't show you practically, but already practical part I can show you here. Where are we? We read the statement first. Domain centralized controller is here called a domain controller, which is nothing but a server. This is our server, our domain controller. Domain administrator is an admin for all systems in the domain. Those who are in the domain, for their system, only one administrator. Only one administrator means it's not like every species not having their own administrator account. So in a work group, every PC has their own administrator account. But here it is, we have a domain administrator. This domain administrator is a administrator for every device in the network, in the domain. We can enforce various type of settings to large number of users and groups in the domain using group policies. We can use a group policies. Using these group policies, we can from the server, I created a group policy in the server, which is nothing but some settings in the policy. I can enforce these settings to the multiple users or computers in the domain. So for example, there is 100 computers are there. For all these computers, I want to do some firewall setting. So what I will do, I'll create a setting in a group policies. I link the policies. The policy will apply to every device in the network. Okay. So for example, in a system background setting, you can see this is the default Windows 10 background. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my background. So I'll put some flowers, maybe car, maybe something like some Avengers poster. Okay, if usually girls you take that's they will put a flowers or maybe some puppies kind of stuff. I have seen in my our environment. So when a girl sitting in our system and boy sitting in a system, okay, they change the background settings. You see, yeah. భోజనం తీసుకురావాలండి పావుగంట అరగంట 1 గంట అయినా పర్వాలేదు. I didn't log in. Oh, sad. already installed and logged in this one. Okay. So what I'm saying, the last part, yeah, we can. So what I will do, I'll create a policy. In that one, I specify some desktop, how the desktop is. So compulsory user. It is after update. That's why it is showing like that. Last time I installed a printer in this PC also. That's why I know. Yeah, our point is first important. So go to settings, guys. So I have an account. So you can see my account from here. This is my account name. C2 student 1. Okay. That is a local account. You can see local account. Is a local account. So go to the accounts. So it will tell about what is your account. It's a local account. You're a local administrator. You're a local administrator. Okay. Next, go to system. Go to about. So this is your computer name. You know already this, your processor, your RAM, your operating system architecture and system architecture, operating system specifications. And I'm trying to show you this one, advanced system settings, advanced system settings. No. Rename this PC, sorry. Rename this PC. You want system properties, rename this PC. Go to not required. See, you can see work group. You can see work group. So this PC is in a work group. This PC is in a work group. It means this account, which account I showed earlier, that is a local administrator. So this account user information stored in this PC, and is an administrator means he can create another user account. He can give permissions. He can do all the settings in this PC because you are in a work group. In case, yes, you understand what is work group means?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I click on change, this is my computer name. If I want to change my computer name, I can change it from here. I'm in an organization. So my systems in an organization. So there is 100 computers are there. There is a domain controller and there is a domain. Okay. Without a domain controller, there is no domain. Okay. So domain is a name and domain controller is a system, a server. Now there is a domain. For example, I want to join into the domain. Okay, I want to make this system join into the domain. So member of domain, give the domain name, for example, Latif.com. Click OK. Then request go to the domain controller. So this is a particular PC want to join into the domain. Yes, okay, no problem. Then it asks a administrator password, domain administrator password like that. So you give the username and password. So it will ask for restart. Then you are a part of domain. Then automatically you are a domain computer. Okay, you're currently in workgroup on. You're rename this PC, showing workgroup. You are in a workgroup on. I didn't join into the domain. Okay, I didn't join it. So you're a member of a workgroup means you're individual PC. You're a member of domain means your PC under control of domain controller. Okay. So I am going to show you my PC, guys. System. about, and also you can see from here my computer name. I'm in the domain. So I'm in the domain. You can see it's not showing work group. I'm in the domain. So my PC is a member of a domain, scientist domain. Okay, because it's my work PC, automatically it should be in the domain. Okay, so the only thing is, are you member of a domain or not, or a work group? That is the thing. If you are a member of a domain, so users in the domain controller can log into your PC. My user account is my personal, my company user account here is already in domain. So my domain administrator means that admin is already added my name into domain controller. So I can log into any of the same domain systems. For example, not only in my laptop. Okay. So I can log into Cypress laptop also because of both laptops in the same domain. Both laptops in the same domain. Not only in my PC, I can log into Sir PC also, or a Madhusar PC, or another system. Those who are in a domain. Easy to say, Sir can able to log in to my laptop in this laptop because this is also in the same domain. With his domain account, he can log into it. But he cannot log into my personal laptop. Why? Because my personal laptop is in Workgroup. Okay, we can't log into this virtual machine. Even I can't able to log into this virtual machine. Why? Because it's in Workgroup. I can't log into Workgroup PCs. Okay. So users in the domain controller can log into any domain computer. So again, where we are there, it is point. Users, groups, computers, services, resource information stored in this centralized server means that is a domain controller. In the domain controller Active Directory database. Domain users can log into any domain computer. For example, this is the user 1 in the domain. I can log into user 1 here. I can log into user 2 here. I can log into user 3 here. I can log into user 4 here. The shift is ended. Morning shift ended. Later shift is started. Same pieces. User 5 came here, login. User 6 login. User 7 login. User 1, user 8 is login. It is. So when these users are logging to PC1 or a PC2 or a PC3, there is a request go to this domain controller. So PC1 is asked, someone called a user 1 with this password is trying to log into my PC. Please verify this account. Please verify this account. Why PC1 is asking domain controller for verification of account? Because PC1 don't know who is user 1, who is user 2 or user 3. So user information, their passwords are not stored in the domain computers. It will be in the domain controller only. So where the users are created, there only the user information their password information, settings, everything is stored here. Okay. So even user 1 want to log into PC2. Same thing goes. Send a request to domain controller. Ask for authenticate this user and password. Once domain controller authenticate the user, so that information go to PC1. Yes, user is authenticated. Then again, PC1 asks like, is it allowed to access? Yes, he is allowed to access. Two things, guys. Verification of identity. Verification of identity called authentication. Giving an access, accessing a system, accessing a printer, accessing a storage. That is called authorization. Authentication, authorization. Allow access, deny access, authorization. Authentication means verification of user identity. So users can log into any of the domain computer, okay, and domain controller authenticate that users. One question, that is simple question is user 9 want to log into PC5. Can he log in or not?
If he is in domain control, then he can log in.
User 9 in the domain. PC5 is not in a domain. Okay.
Then he
So
can't
in
log
my
in.
domain, I written only PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, but PC5 is not in the domain.
So he can't log in the systems.
Yes, user 9 is cannot log into PC5 because it's not in the domain, even though he is in the same network.
Domain.
Cannot able to log in. Very good. Very good. Okay. So PC5 is not in our domain, is in a work group, or maybe it is different domain, but not in our domain. PC5 information not available in a domain controller Active Directory database. So obviously domain users cannot log into PC5. Okay, that's why it is called an administrative boundary. Even though PCs, systems are resources in the network, if they are in the domain or not. If they are in the domain controller is centralized authentication system. It is okay. Centralized administration from the domain controller is applicable. Otherwise, not. Okay. So here it is some explanation about a work group domain kind of stuff. Okay. So here it is. Amit is a local administrator of PCA. So it is in workgroup PCs. So what Amit can able to do, it can change settings, install application, uninstall an application, give permission. Amit can manage PCA, but not other PCs. Neetu user is information stored in PCC, not in other PCs. Anand, the user information is settings, password stored in PCB. Amit user information, password stored in PCB. So you can make a change and settings by going to each and every PC. How to do certain settings: firewall setting, desktop setting, application settings, installation of application. So you are managing these PCs. So you have to go to each and every piece, and then comes with a domain. So these are a PCs. PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4 are in the domain. So users are created in a domain controller. PCs, those who are joined into the domain, their names also there in the domain controller. Resources, those are in the domain, their names, their information also in the domain controller. Those not in the domain, their information not available in the domain controller. So it is a logical administrative space with a single domain name. User information means username, password stores in PC. Computers join into the domain called a domain computers. Users in the domain called a domain users means these users, we call it as a domain users. These are not domain users. There are local users of that PC. Domain users can log into their any domain computers. These domain users can log into any of the domain computers. Domain admin account is administrator for all devices in the domain. There is a domain administrator. That account members are administrator of all devices in the domain. Domain user log into domain computer and domain controller authenticate the user. Okay, so this is the thing is in Workgroup. This is my personal old PC. It is. And I try to join in the domain. See, member of domain. Here also, I click name BC change. Member of domain. I can able to select and type. But if you see this picture, I cannot able to select this domain. Option is not there. Even I tried. Problem is my old PC. My PC is in Windows 10 Home Edition. Home editions, we cannot join into the domain. For example, some of your friend or family member, they're asking, I want to join into the domain. Please join my laptop into your domain. So open the settings, go to about, rename this, not required. So go check this edition, Windows 10 Homes, cannot join into the domain. Okay. And why it is showing this one? This is Windows 10 Pro edition. You can see that's this Windows 10 Pro edition. Pro editions can able to join. Enterprise editions can able to join, but home editions cannot join into the domain. Okay, I think change some other system here. Okay, change member of domain. So I can able to select domain here because it's a Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise. So selected that one. So click OK to join into the domain. Same thing I'm trying to show you here from here, guys. So I'm doing some fast forwarding. Why? Because of lot of explanation. So okay. So my explanation is lengthy. Meanwhile, this advertisements, they should not come. Usually it won't come in my PC, my account mainly. So here it is. I went to a PC. It is already in domain. Okay, which is already in the domain. That is the computer name. I'm already in a domain. If I want to go to the work group, so then I can select and put a work group name. So I will out of the domain, I will be in the work group. And this is a server part. Okay. I think I explained 2 times in a single shot. We'll do that one. Okay, server is on. So that's my world app. Because it's a slowly open. Meanwhile, I told so much of story. Yes, that's a server manager, guys. It's a server system. I'll make it full screen. Your screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
Open a full screen mode. See, it is users in the server. So you can see Active Directory, users and computers. Latif.com is a domain name. Under that one, there is a OUS. OUS means it's a container kind of stuff, like a folder, which contains users, groups, computers, information. So I created a Pratiksha in this Java OU, and there is Akram in the HR OU. In IT support, I created a 2 user accounts. In CTS3 OU, I created some accounts. Okay. So these are the users. I'm creating a new user here. So, okay. So I'm trying to create a user in the domain controller. And this is my client PC, Windows 10 Enterprise. Enterprises are easily available, guys. It's because of evolution versions. This is my server, Windows Server 2016 data center evaluation. This is Windows 10. So this is server, that is client. Okay. Yeah, so many. Yeah. Now I'm creating a user in the server. In the Active Directory, I'm creating a user. Okay, I'm creating a Ashwini account. Username is Ashwini. First name, last name, like that I created. That is the login name, full name and the last name, and login username. I think she asked it to change complete name. Ashwini Gopi. Okay. So again, explanation it is. So I created an account. For that one, I'm giving a password. So then, so I created a username and as well as a password in my server. The account is created. Now I came to the client PC. I have to log out from the client PC. So currently student one is a local account is login. So I sign out from the local account. So here it is other user. So I'm signing into Latif. Student one is a local account. So we can look at the student one, nothing is in between. You can see student one is a local account. It is asking password, but signing into is not showing because it's a local account. But I want to log in other user. It means I want to log in with a domain user. Okay. So you can see in the bottom signing into Latif means the domain name. I type a username. పైన పెట్టేసాను పైన. Okay, so I successfully log in with a different login styles are there, guys. UPA name, username, password, like that it is there. So UPI name, SAM account name, like that it is there. So I put a Ashwini username, domain name, like that. Now I did given Gopi kind of stuff. Immediately it send a request. Automatically request went to the server and ask for this username and a password and verified here, and automatically I can able to log into my client base. The server, in the server I created username and I log into client pieces. How can I log into this client pieces? Because it's in our domain. Guys, understand what is this client and server?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is again group policy kind of stuff. You can see this is a group policy management in the server. So here it is. I created a policies. These policies are applicable to this OU users. Okay. So what are the settings I have done in that policies? It is applicable to the users. So you can see desktop wallpaper setting it is in that one. So what are the settings? It is not loading. Okay. So these are the settings in this one. Sorry. So lunchtime now, so people will ask questions. Okay, so there is a picture. I want to push this picture to the client. So I have a picture in my server and I created a group policies in my server. Okay. I think I have done this one or not. I have to check it once more. So I created a group policy in my PC. ఆయన అడగండి ఒకసారి చెప్తారు మీకు ప్రైస్ చెప్తారు కదా అదే పేరు గుర్తుండు ఎగ్ ఫ్రైడ్ రైస్ అనండి ఎగ్ ఫ్రైడ్ రైస్ అని అంతేనా ఇంకేం ఎగ్ ఫ్రైడ్ రైస్ ఒకటి చికెన్ 65 అంతేనండి చికెన్ మంచూరియా చికెన్ మంచూరియా కాదండి వెజ్ మంచూరియా వస్తుంది ఒకసారి అడగండి ఆయన అది చికెన్ లో ఏం కావాలని నాకు మాత్రం ఎగ్ ఫ్రైడ్ రైస్ సిజ్వాన్ అంటారు సిజ్వాన్ అంటారు లేదు ఇంకా అతని దగ్గర అది లేదంటే ఇంకా మరి వేరే ఏదైనా తీసుకోండి వేరే ఐటమ్ అయినా పర్వాలేదు నాకు అదే అయిపోతుంది బిర్యానీ ఒకసారి సార్ని అడగండి క్యారీ వెళ్ళచ్చు okay so that group policy I didn't create, I think so, but point is what is the use of this group policy kind of stuff. So that group policy settings we can applicable to the users. So when they log into the system, automatically these group policies will be applicable. In the group policies, you can do firewall settings, you can do folder redirections, desktop settings related, application related settings. Okay, we can enforce various type of settings. So here it is. We can enforce various type of settings, the large number of users and groups in the domain. So don't worry, guys. This is a last point. Same continuation only. So I don't want to break it. That's why I said separately.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just read this one. 1 second. I will. పదిహేనో తారీఖు దాటాకేది సార్ ఈ నెల బడ్జెట్ లేదు 15 దాటాకే నెక్స్ట్ మండే అయినా పర్వాలేదు నాకు sorry so many disturbances not a disturbance. Okay, so you got a question like what is a domain? So you can tell these points about a domain kind of stuff. Centralized administration. There is a centralized controller called a domain controller, which is nothing but a server. Domain administrator is an administrator of entire domain system. We can enforce various settings to large number of users and groups. Okay, so we can enforce various type of settings to number of users and computers in the domain using group policies. In the domain controller, there is an Active Directory database, which contains information about users, groups, computers, services, and resources. Domain user can log into any domain computer. Okay. The same domain only, but I write in a AD domain. We are talking in an Active Directory domain only, guys. But if you search in a Google, what is a domain? And you'll get a different kind of answers. You'll get a different kind of answers. Domain means so many kind of stuff. Some people say like, see, this is so many domain. What is domain? So network domain. So different type of meanings now. So when you want to search, domain means always Active Directory domain. Okay, Active Directory domain, not controller, Active Directory domain. So then somewhat it is relevant what we are telling that will come. Okay, normally English meaning of domain means group or a specific group. For example, I am working in a network engineer. So all networking side I am taking. My domain is networking. For example, I am working in a software related testing or deployments or maybe development on the Java platform. My domain is Java programming, or you can say like that. Okay. So domain English meaning is like a specific. You are a member of function. but here it is Active Directory domain. Either these lines you are telling or any lines you are telling, that is entirely belongs to Active Directory domain. Okay, that's why I put a AD domain. So it is also a domain. So already here in the picture, you have seen a logical administrative boundary. Even though PC5 is the same network, but it is not in the domain. Okay, if it is in the domain, then only the domain related things will be applicable. So that's why we call it Active Directory domain, or a domain is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Of course, for resources and services. Active Directory, guys, you got a question about what is an Active Directory. Active Directory, 2 points are important. Only two, mainly. One is Active Directory database. What is Active Directory database? It contains information of users, groups, computers, and resources information. Next, Active Directory. Second one is authentication. Already I told that is when domain user is trying to log into domain computer, who is going to authenticate? Domain controller. So in a domain controller, which part? Active Directory part. User information, group information, your computer information stored in domain controller, where Active Directory database. Users are getting authenticated where domain controller. In that one, Active Directory is doing that. So Active Directory, two main services. One is Active Directory database. Second one is authentication. Simple point, guys. Wherever you go, learn, read, so many confusions, small points, big points. Either 1 or 2 lines, or maybe a 1-page line. Okay, 1-page kind of stuff. But it is a simple to understand 2 things. One is Active Directory database. Second one is authentication services. Every database having a name. The name of Active Directory database is NTDS.DIT. NTDS.DIT. New Technology Directory Service, Directory Information. Same first point only, but name of the Active Directory database. Your Active Directory doing authentication, right? How to do authentication? Using authentication protocols. Kerberos authentication protocol. So Active Directory uses Kerberos authentication protocol. Port number is 88. Of course, Active Directory also uses LDAP authentication protocol also. Okay. If you search in a Google what is an Active Directory, it will tell this point. Microsoft service from 2003 or 2000 onwards. Of course, it is right. Why? Because of this type of service earlier than 2000 means Windows NT server. That's a different name is there. Okay, NTLM authentication, SAM database is there. From 2000, this Active Directory name is there. So it's a Microsoft service, of course, because of Windows Server means it's a Microsoft related. It's a Microsoft service. Active Directory name came from 2000 server onwards. 2003 server, it is Active Directory. After that one, it become Active Directory domain services. Okay, from 2008 server onwards, it called as a Active Directory domain service. Yeah, tell me. Tell me. The Active Directory, same Active Directory domain services. But why to change the name? Because of Active Directory is become very bigger from 2008 onwards. Because Active Directory domain services, certification services, federation services, lightweight directory services. One more is there, that is called RMS, Right Management Services. These services are introduced in server 2008. That's why it is Active Directory, totally 5 services. So our active directory is original active directory part, our active directory part from to earlier to now. So this is the only one is that is active directory. So do not confuse between active directory and active directory services. Year 2000 means server 2000, 2003 active directory. From 2008 onwards, it's active directory domain services. So that's the simple. Yeah. Someone is asking question, but unable to hear. Guys, please watch these two videos. Even for this one also, try. So I explained about a group policy. Where it is. So I will put both the names here so then you can understand. Same links only, but in a single way. So how to reset a password, that one also I told. Okay. Two more points means here only it is not go to anywhere. Azure AD. Maybe nowadays Azure AD word is also coming. What is this Azure AD? Azure is a Microsoft public cloud. From Microsoft public cloud. You know AWS, same way from Microsoft. It is Azure. AWS from Amazon. Azure from Microsoft. That's a simple. Okay. This Azure is also a Microsoft a cloud platform, also providing Active Directory services. Normally, you need a server. So, where is the server? So, this is my server, physical server. So, I have to install a physical server and I have to configure network, configuring network securities, physical securities, and some replications and all I have to configure. So I cannot able to offer to purchase a servers for my organization. So what I will do for simply, there is a lot of other conditions, but simple to say, I will go for a cloud. Mainly Active Directory services are required for my organization. Then I will go to Azure Cloud. Simply from Azure Cloud, you can get a Active Directory services. You can create users there. You can create a policies there. So user can able to log into your domain anytime. Okay, even from any device also we can do it. Okay, so that's the point is Active Directory services. Azure AD means Azure is a cloud platform. Active Directory services. Okay, guys, here it is. One point I said here it is, if user is forget his password, I created a username in the server and I log into the client. One day client forget a password. So, when I'm trying to log into this laptop for a first time, I didn't remember my password. I asked sir, so what is my password? He asked me, do you want to change your password? I said, no, sir, I'm using the first password. So he told the password. For example, I cannot be able to change I forget my password. Now I want to change my password or my password is compromised. Ask my administrator, ask a administrator, that is reset your password. So I raise the service request ticket, not incident ticket, service request ticket. So please change my password. So what this administrator will do, service desk person, administrator, system administrator in the service desk. Okay, I raise the ticket to the service desk. So doing this system administration. Log into server, go to user account, go to reset the password. First he will change the password. Okay, and password is changed successful. He told the password to me. Then I will try to log into the with a new password. Not like that. So I forget my password. So I got a problem with the login. So what I will do now, new password is changed, so I can able to log in with a new password. Okay, so that is also one part of small example for a domain and client. So even password also we can change from the server. Okay, so compulsory, try to do this one, these two things, guys, you can understand very easily. Okay, so Vasikan also came, but we didn't find it. Very good. Goyal not came today, so every day without absent, people are coming, but one person is missing today. So can happen. Okay, just read once more, guys. Read once more or watch that video, so you will understand what is the domain and what is work group, what is meant by this kind of stuff, how to do this server practical kind of stuff also. Okay, anybody is interested to practice, also they can do it because you can simply go to the playlist, try any B17. Playlist is B17 or B2. Try like this. Go to my name. Not required any point. Okay, simply go to my channel. Go to the playlist. Then try B2. This is 213 videos are there in a B2 playlist. B17 is a recent one. Yeah, B13 is also there. A recent one, B13. B17, B13. So you can see the number of videos, not your service. The service desk is for every batch. Okay, go to the playlist, search first how to install this VMware, how to configure VMware, how to install a Windows Server, how to download Windows Server, how to install a Windows Server, how to install Windows 10, how to connect it, how to do that one, how to all these things. So almost all Active Directory and group policy kind of stuff, DHCP, DNS practicals will be covered. Okay, so that's the point I am trying to tell you. Okay, guys. So tomorrow we'll
Okay,
discuss
sir.
DHCP and DNS and other things.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hey guys, you have